2 years ago at this Parsha Masei, I was realizing, I was learning, sitting with the Parsha, and I was realizing, this really is the last Parsha of the Torah, because Dvarim is called Mishnah Torah, and it's really, Dvarim is basically a recapitulation of the whole Torah. So it occurred to me that if that's the case, then any author, when he writes a book, he always finishes the book with something very important about a conclusion, a restatement, something that's important to leave off with. So I figured it must be that Hashem's doing the same thing. So I looked at what's the last topic of the Torah, and what's the last pasuk of the Torah. So the last topic of the Torah is about Slavchad's daughters. Moshe Rabbeinu is giving out the portion of the land of Israel. That's the last subject. And he goes back and he says, and they come back and say, but the daughters of Slavchad have to marry within the Shevet, or else the land's going to get, the inheritance gets messed up. So the Moshe Rabbeinu says, yes, you're right, and he explains that they have to marry their uncles and they have to stay within the Shevet. And then the final pasuk of the Torah, the last pasuk says, Ele hamitzvahs v'amishpatim asher tziva Hashem biyad Moshe el bnei Yisrael be'arvot Moav al Yarden Yericho. Okay, now the question is, what's this pasuk doing? I mean, is it a summation? And what is it telling us that we don't already know? We don't know that these are the mitzvahs and the mishpatim that Hashem commanded. We don't know that it was through Moshe. We don't know that Bnei Israel's now sitting Barvos Moav al Yarden Yericho. We know it's been saying that a number of times.
Right.
Okay. So what's this pasuk doing? So I was thinking that the whole inyan of the Torah itself is about the whole purpose of the Torah is to bring us to Eretz Yisrael, and I mean specifically the spiritual concept of Eretz Yisrael. And what is Eretz Yisrael in spiritual concept? It is dveikus. It is intimacy with Hashem. That's Eretz Yisrael, right? So therefore, it seems to me that now that when I see this whole thing, so this last subject is what's going to get in the way of inheriting Eretz Yisrael? What's going to get in the way of being a dveikus? What's going to get in the way of having an intimate relationship with Hashem? Oh, the daughters of Slavchad. What is that? What is Slavchad? Slavchad is the lashon tseil pachad, the shadow of fear. What is the shadow of fear? All the little uptightnesses and fears and worries that we have that disconnects us from the joy of being with Hashem in the moment. Right? And those shadows of fear come in 5 categories. The daughters of Tzlafchad. So what are the daughters? What are the categories of Tseil Pachad? The daughters of Tzlafchad. Okay, we have. So the first one, the Machla. People are all uptight about their health, and when oh my gosh, there's this epidemic going around, and everybody's freaked out about the mosquito and not getting bitten by the mosquito, and nobody's really paying attention to their relationship with Hashem there. Certainly not feeling the simcha of that Hashem's running things perfectly. Okay. Also, mechila in that word. People get uptight about maybe God doesn't forgive me, or I can't forgive that person for doing this. These are things that cause tseil pachad. Tirtza. People get in the tseil pachad because they're afraid they're not going to get what they want. They're also afraid that nobody was going to want them. Chagla. People get uptight when they're preparing for a celebration. And they forget to be in the presence of the joy and the gratitude that is why they're celebrating, and that all the preparations are part of that. Wow, I get to do this preparation for this amazing celebration that I'm having with joy and gratitude. Instead, they get uptight. And they miss the moment. Milka. People get uptight from the bureaucracy. And they can't, it's very hard for people to remember Hashem and the perfection and the joy of Hashem's perfection when they're dealing with bureaucracy. Noah, people get very uptight when they have to go somewhere. And they forget to enjoy the joy of Hashem's perfection in the experience of the traveling and the moving around. So what's the solution? You have to...
You stick with your roots.
What?
You don't. That's why they had to bury the same Shevet. The answer is when you face him.
When you marry the daughters to their dadehen. Dadehen is the lashon for breast, so the source of their nourishment. What you just said, their source. Shevet is also the source and the place of home, but it's also their particular gate of spiritual connection, is your Shevet. And so therefore, you have to raise up the awareness to their source. What's their source? Oh, these feelings are and these experiences are being created by Hashem. These are manifestations of Hashem's creation. To remind ourselves of that the machla, the illness, what if a person doesn't feel, well, that's Hashem and it's perfect and you can actually be uncomfortable and still be happy with and trusting Hashem. A person, whether their desires are met and whether somebody likes them, that's from Hashem. Whether the person is celebrating and all of the things are coming together in exactly the way it comes together or doesn't, that's from Hashem. And a person is going according to the bureaucracy and they're doing all these crazy bureaucratic jumping through hoops, there are holy sparks they're raising up, and that's Hashem. And when a person's moving and traveling and all the experiences, that's Hashem. You have to raise them up. You have to marry them to their uncles. Okay? So then the last pasuk is now. So these, Eila, HaMitzvos, Eila, what's the Eila? Eila, these are the things that have brought you to Eretz Yisrael, are bringing you to consciousness. Which are they? These are the mitzvot and the mishpatim. These are the mitzvot are mitzvah is translated as command, but it also literally means a connecting vessel. A vessel for it's a channel. It makes a channel for connecting to God light. Mishpatim are judgments. The way we judge, the way the things happen, where we put our awareness. These Eile HaMitzvot, HaMishpatim, these that bring us to Eretz Yisrael are what? Now, before I get to the rest of the pasuk, let me just ask a couple of questions on the pasuk. Asher tzivah Hashem biyad Moshe el bnei Yisrael. It should read Asher tzivah Hashem et bnei Yisrael biyad Moshe. Why is biyad Moshe in the middle here? And why is it el instead of et? Because everywhere it's a mitzvah, mitzaveh et bnei Yisrael. Right? So he's saying like this. He's saying this. The main point of the whole thing is Eretz Yisrael, which is achieved through tshuva. And tshuva, as we know from Torah Vav, is recognizing Hashem everywhere. And what helps us do that? The mitzvot and the mishpatim. And why did Hashem give us that? To make our connections, to give us the opportunity to make this connection. And so therefore, when Hashem's commanding us, for instance, on Daled meaning, He's telling us, this is the thing that's making your connection. By doing this, you are connected. Mitzaveh et b'nei Yisrael. I am connecting you through this mitzvah. However, here He's saying, these mitzvahs and the things, these are the things that I'm giving you how to make these connections. I'm giving over to you these concepts and these qualities and these things you can do. That's El B'nai Yisrael. How does it happen? How are you going to get connected? Only through the tzaddik. It has to be Biyad Moshe. You can't get this connection to Hashem except through the tzaddik. So it's Biyad Moshe El B'nai Yisrael. Ba'arvot Moav. But here's the next problem. As soon as you start really getting connected up, all sorts of confusions are going to happen. And just know that. Know that those confusions are the Arvos. Know those confusions are Moav. They are also from the Father. So don't get uptight about the confusions. Just let them go. And you just know that you're going to be constantly, in order to be inheriting Eretz Yisrael, you're going to be constantly going up and down. That's Baki Baratzo, Baki B'Shov. That's Torah Vav. That's Eretz Yisrael. That's Tshuva Shlema. That you have to know that you're going to go always, like he says there, you have to be Ochez B'Midat HaTshuva Tamid. You have to always be holding on to the Midah of Tshuva. To doing tshuva over and over, which is tshuva harishona, and that's, remember he says that's baki baratzo, baki b'shov, being an expert and going up and being an expert, and 2 times baki is gematria derech, And this is the derech, this is the way of going in inheriting Eretz Yisrael. And since we have to go from level to level, we're always going derech mi derech. From this place, you get to the next derech, to the next derech. Derech mi derech. And that's the conclusion of the Pasuk. Al Yarden Yerecho. How are you going up? Al Yarden. You're going down to the Nun. And then when you recognize that Hashem, it's the Nun there, Yerecho. That Reach goes up again, and it is what lifts you up. And so therefore, that finishes and tells you that this is the ultimate point of the whole thing. Yarden Yerecho. Going down, going up. Which Yarden Yerecho is Gematria, Derech Me Derech. And that Derech Me Derech is how the conclusion of the Parsha joins together with the beginning of the Parsha, the Masei. Eile Masei b'nei Yisrael, Derech Me Derech. And we see also that this Derech Me Derech connects to the beginning of the Torah. The finishing of the Torah also connects to the beginning of the Torah. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Shamayim is the language of Shamim, a series of theirs. Sham means there. Shamayim is a series of theirs. There, to there, to there. Derech me derech. The aretz is lashon arutz. I will run. The whole purpose of my inheritance. How do I inherit Eretz Yisrael? How do I become intimate with Hashem? Constantly running to do Hashem's will. Constantly running to go from level to level. Derech me derech. Shenizkeh. May we merit to recognize the nature of the inheritance, the process of all of us coming to inherit Eretz Yisrael and to inherit God's desire for us is to have an intimate relationship and the teaching of going from level to level, that you have to be an expert of going up and going down, and don't let the fears of the world get in the way, but rather remind ourselves that everything that's happening is the experience from Hashem. And if we do so, if we marry our fears, our tzlafchad, our daughters of tzlafchad, to our dadehen, to the source of nourishment, that it's all Hashem. And if we remember that we have to go from level to level and don't let the confusions bother us, then we will certainly achieve the entire purpose of the Torah from Bereshit to the end of Bamidbar, to inherit Eretz Yisrael and to have a deep, true, intimate relationship with our Creator. And of course, achieving this relationship will be the greatest comfort, this being Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av. May we merit to have the relationship of intimacy with our Creator that comforts our Father. Ken Yehi Ratzon, good Chodesh, good Shabbos.